from Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. As for Dallas, they're looking like a Super Bowl contender. Dallas is favored by 7. But divisional games, obviously, always a dogfight. Stephen A., do you trust the Cowboys?
Absolutely not. Look. I mean, do we not see what's happening here? Do we not see what's happening? Okay, y'all. Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, we see what they bring to the table. Right now, if I had a vote and it was Defensive Player of the Year, it would be Diggs for the Cowboys. The guy has been special the first 4 weeks of the season. Major props to him. All the props in the world. Stephon Diggs should be very, very proud of his little brother. I got it. I understand, okay? When they were on soft knocks, not hard knocks, soft knocks. We learned a lot about Diggs and the family, and I wish him nothing but the best, at least off the field. On the field, I'll never root for the Cowboys because I can't stand their fans, Tim. I just can't take them. Having said all of that, here's the deal. You got Dak Prescott and that offensive firepower on every level, from the offensive line to Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard to CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. Michael Gallup hasn't even been in the lineup for a while, but this kid Wilson could play as well. Schultz has done good things for them at the tight end spot. Got a couple of touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. I get all of that. I'm still not sold on this defense. And every time everybody talks about them, I'm thinking about the level of competition that you go up against. When you go up against Carolina last week, but there is no Christian McCaffrey. Okay, you got that. I'm looking at your cupcake schedule. I'm saying,
level
okay,
of competition. Stephen A., what? The level of competition. They played the Bucks. They played the Chargers.
I'm talking about moving forward. I'm not talking about what they played. I'm not talking about the first couple of weeks of the season. I know they had the Bucks and the Chargers. I wasn't talking about that. I'm talking about moving forward because I expect them to be somewhere around the line of 8-2 or 9-1, 10 games into the season. But I'm saying when you look at the NFC, think about what we said. We got Aaron Rodgers. He's a bad man. We've got Tom Brady. He'll be waiting. We got Matthew Stafford. All right. We've got Kyler Murray. Okay. We got that going on. I'm saying I got 4 or 5 teams that I could see knocking off the Cowboys. So, no, I'm not sold on them. Not when we talking about Mike McCarthy's play calling.
Are they going to win against the Giants?
Not when we talk about their defense. Excuse me?
Are they going to win against the Giants? Is it a trap game?
Unfortunately, yeah. Your Giants are going to lose. Well, go ahead.
But Stephen A., the question was, do you trust them? And every point you gave, every point you gave was a reason to trust them. Defensive Player of the Year, Micah Parsons, all the running backs, the tight ends, the quarterback, Dak Prescott.
I didn't say secondary.
You talked about one member of their secondary. So, but everything you said would lead someone to believe that you would trust them with everything that you said until it's like, no, I don't trust them. So is the reason you don't trust them because you don't want to trust them because you dislike them? Is that what's getting in the way?
Who are you, dear Abby? Why are you trying to psychoanalyze me, man?
I'm just asking,
I don't trust them.
What's the real reason why you don't trust them? Is it with your eyes or is it with your heart? Because those are different.
Well, a combination of both. With my eye, I get you. With my heart, I can't deny that.
Heart can get you in trouble,
but
I
truly do not trust their defense. I really, really don't right now. And I think their defense is vulnerable, and I think their defense could be had against better competition. Right now, I'm looking at their 27 yards allowed. They're your second worst pass defense in the National Football League, and I'm looking at elite quarterbacks that are coming down the pipe.
But what about your boy Justin Herbert, right? To the A block, we went off about Justin Herbert, right? How did the Cowboys defense do against him? Pretty good.
Yeah, they did turn the ball over, though, man. They turned the ball over. You got Keenan Allen falling in the end zone. Tim Tebow has a touchdown, and the man fell in the end zone. You got them, and they fumbled another one in the end zone when they were running into the damn end zone and just fumbled. I mean, come on. Are we just going to forget all of that?
Tim, you're picking the Cowboys this weekend, too?
I'm taking the Cowboys this weekend just because I think their offense is elite. I think Dak Prescott is managing at the line of scrimmage as well as anybody right now, and he's just dialing it up. I also think their defense is improving. I don't necessarily believe in their defense or trust them, but I think they're getting better, and I think this offense is elite. So many playmakers, every position.
They're getting better. They couldn't get much worse than last year when they grabbed Mike Nolan off the scrap heap after 6 years out of the business as a coordinator and made him a defensive coordinator.
Statute of limitations and beating up on the Cowboys.
This is a lot of heart talking, man. This is a lot of heart talking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Michael Irvin will be here Monday. Don't forget.
Lord.
Okay. When we come back here on First Take, Tim Tebow will give some advice to his former coach after caught in a compromising situation. What Tim would say to Urban Meyer. We will get into that. And that bad man has people thinking big things in Green Bay. Does Stephen A. think Aaron Rodgers is Super Bowl bound? Stay here. It's First Take. champion Milwaukee Bucks, but Kyrie Irving will not be there. He's officially listed as ineligible to play by the Nets. The star guard is not practiced this week at Barclays Center, and the organization remains unclear on his ultimate intentions in terms of getting the vaccination required by New York. Here's James Harden.
I want him to be on the team, of course. He's been a huge part of, since I've been here, a huge part of, our success, the success that we did have last year. And we kind of was finding a rhythm to whereas, that chemistry that we built, especially I can remember last year, that one road trip we had, we were just, me and Kyrie, and he's just a special talent that you don't really see often. So, of course, I would want him to be on the team, and, he's one of the reasons why I came here.
Okay, so Kyrie not playing against Milwaukee tonight. By the way, yesterday, Los Angeles became the third NBA city to pass a sweeping COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Jay Williams here with us. Jay Will, always good to see you, sir.
Hello,
we'll get
Molly.
to you in just a second. Stephen A., what impact could Kyrie have on the Nets moving forward?
Well, he can decimate their franchise. Let me be very, very clear with what I'm saying. James Harden can sign an extension. He's got a player option after this season that'll pay him $47 million.
Okay.
He can opt in and then add about 3 years and $161 million to that. Well, what did Malika Andrews report the other day? She talked about how James Harden alluded to, I believe it was Malika Andrews. If I'm wrong about that, my apologies, but I believe it was her. Basically reporting that James Harden talked about how he's never tested free agency. He's never actually been a free agent out there. He'd like to see what options are available to him. And here's the thing that we have to pay attention to. This is the same James Harden that turned down a 2-year, $103 million extension from the Houston Rockets. He left money on the table so he could go somewhere that he wanted to go. So don't think for 1 second that James Harden likes the nonsense that's going on in Brooklyn. We've been so busy talking about Kevin Durant. We forgot what a superstar James Harden is. Last year was an aberration. He wanted out of Houston. They initially said no. He came into camp out of shape, all right, because he was letting them know he ain't trying to play for them that upcoming season. And as a result, they ultimately moved him. And remember, at the 11th hour, as Jay Williams can attest to, at the 11th hour, Molly, there was noise that the Philadelphia 76ers were about to grab James Harden.
Yeah.
He was about to head to Philadelphia. Brooklyn recognized that, stepped right in at the 11th hour because KD and them was like, what you doing? Get this, brother. And Sean Marks went out there and he got James Harden. We got to remember this dude is a superstar. He's a multiple-time scoring champion. He's one of the elite offensive players this game has ever seen. And to be quite honest with you, Kevin Durant isn't the only one that deserves better. James Harden deserves
He
better.
wants a ring.
James Harden deserves better than the nonsense Kyrie Irving is putting this franchise through. So when James Harden speaks up and he says, look, I've never been a free agent before. We all know what Philly's doing. Philly would like Ben Simmons back, okay? But if Ben Simmons wants to be there, the first order of business is for him to get back so he can elevate his trade value and they can move him for equitable compensation. You think Daryl Morey doesn't want James Harden in Philadelphia? You think Doc Rivers would have wanted James Harden in Philadelphia with Joel Embiid? You kidding me? Once upon a time, they got a call last year, okay? The Houston Rockets thought, they were about to do a deal that was going to send Ben Simmons to Houston so James Harden could come to Philadelphia. But ultimately, Brooklyn stepped in, and that was where James Harden wanted to go. He's giving indications now that might not be the case if all of this nonsense continues. So when Kyrie Irving sits back, clearly thinking about himself and his quote-unquote principled positions, he's compromising the franchise because Kevin Durant is a baller. James Harden is a baller. They don't want all of this other stuff. They want a hoop. And I'm hearing, as of last night, at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I was on the phone with some people, Jay, and I was told, Kevin Durant, don't think for 1 second that Kevin Durant won't eventually give Brooklyn the okay to move this brother if it continues to be on the path that it is. Don't think he's so married to Kyrie Irving that he's just going to tolerate all of this other stuff. Hell, before they landed in Brooklyn, Kyrie wasn't speaking to anybody, including Kevin Durant. Okay, DeAndre Jordan had to get on the phone and speaking like, what the hell are we doing here? What's up? I thought we were coming to Brooklyn, all right? Because Kyrie had went down under, not literally to Australia. I'm talking about he went down low. He was like, yo, I don't want to talk to anybody, okay? So we got to pay attention to what's going on. There's some stuff percolating in Brooklyn, and if Kyrie don't get back, all hell might break loose. That's what I'm saying. Jay, the floor is yours.
No, S.A., I'm with you. And if I'm Joe Tsai, if I'm Sean Marks, there's no way in hell I'm letting James Harden get to Philadelphia, who's in the East, and actually is the perfect pairing for Joel Embiid. Think about, man, that's just scary to even think about what that team could be. That's why, look, the game of basketball is very similar to House of Cards, right? And this is politics when it comes down to it at the end of the day. And Stephen A., when we first talked about Kyrie Irving, I said, to what degree is Joe Tsai willing to go to in order to see if he can get Kyrie Irving to stay, right? Is there a way he can find an exemption? This is how you do it. House of Cards.